traditional home but prefer a more contemporary style of living, you may want to consider going with a classic yet trendy design style. This is achieved by pairing traditional elements with modern design finishes.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Donegan, and this is my partner Tom DiVerio, and we're the principal of Donegan DiVerio Design Group.
Today we're going to be showing you a home that we designed on Miami Beach, and what's unique about this home is that it is a blend of traditional style with a very modern interior.
We look at the making of a traditional modern home on today's SoFlo Home Project. Welcome to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra. Today we're touring a beautiful property designed with a modern yet traditional twist. When updating your home with the classic yet trendy style, it's best to focus on the interiors and remember that less can sometimes be more. This 13,000 square foot home has 7 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and 2 powder rooms. The interiors of this home in a classical architectural style has been updated with an elegant contemporary feel. Charlotte and Tom, welcome to SoFlo Home Project.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So it's going to be a pleasure touring this beautiful home that you designed for your clients, and we are going to actually have so much fun touring this. We're doing 2 episodes because there is so much to see.
So the house was actually an historical house. The project started as a renovation, and unfortunately, as we started to uncover more and more issues with the house, it became very clear that we could not salvage the house. So we had to go through the Historical Society, really, of Miami to get an approval on what could be done, because this house was, the original house was a 1925 house. We got an approval, but with very strict guidelines. In order to be able to demolish the existing house, we had to really be true to the original architecture.
So that was always the intent. You have to kind of keep that style and
Absolutely.
keep the feel.
Exactly.
Tom, so when you are working on a historical home project and of course doing all of this renovation, there are a lot of challenges as well.
Yeah, so some of the elements that we had to keep based off of the historical house were structure like this tower that we're standing in now. We had to recreate that, so a lot of things like that we had to take into consideration when designing the new home.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like an extensive undertaking just to be able to stay true to the architecture and then also kind of put your own touch on it for the client to make this house feel like a beautiful new home.
Yeah, and it was a little bit tricky because, you know, the client really wanted a more modern feel. So being able to combine those 2 elements was a lot of fun and also a challenge.
Well, I would say you successfully did it, because just in the entryway alone, you get this great feel. This is going to be the theme of everything we talk about today.
Yes, and we really tried to keep the warmth. That was very important, because sometimes modern could be a little colder.
Yes.
But we really tried to keep very warm wood in order to keep the charm, and yet very sleek elements such as like the baseboard detail that you see right
Yes.
here, yet mixed with elements as you can see in the ceiling. We actually designed like a more traditional approach of a ceiling.
Yeah, taking traditional elements like baseboards and crown moldings and doing a little twist on them to make them seem a little bit more modern and streamlined, so it goes along better with the style of the inside of the house.
Yeah, I love those details, but when it comes to the staircase and entryway, that's usually one of those things that really makes that wow factor.
Using the walnut to warm it up and having the glass, it really created a nice warm feeling inside the house, especially with the walls having them being white. So it visually creates a really nice impact in, you know, it's got a great curve to it up here.
Yes.
as the glass bends around, and that leans back into the Art Deco design and details that we wanted to introduce back into the house.
There is a lot of beautiful design details other than the stairways. As you get above, there's these beautiful cased openings.
Again, we had to have this very tall tower, and in order to bring back some warmth is to really case all those openings that you can see in the walnut trim as well. That little detail is actually repeated right here on the the cap of the railing.
Absolutely.
Which makes it warmer but also safe. and that allows us to really keep the entire back wall completely clean without any sorts of handrail.
Then that wall is just so clean and your eye goes up to the beautiful windows and this height.
The height is so tall, it's 3 stories high, so to bring that scale down, we also created a secondary band of crown molding to sort of create separate spaces so it didn't feel like one giant volume going
Defines
up.
the height. So a lot of great things here, a lot of great design tips as well. Now, speaking of continuity, we're going to continue with our tour and see where else we see the beautiful walnut details, but of course, so many of the beautiful rooms that you designed in the interior. So let's go on through and we'll... Coming up, a great example of how to bring timeless elegance to your kitchen on SoFlo Home Project.
Hey, Mike Martinez from USA Windows and Doors here. You know, back in the 1960s, this is how you protected your home from hurricanes. So if you want to learn how to go from these awnings to those beautiful windows, we're going to show you how, coming up next.
Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing to tour this beautiful home in Miami Beach with interior design team Charlotte Dunnigan and Tom DeVario. So you guys, it's been an awesome start. We walked in and saw a beautiful entryway, learned a little bit about the design style of the home and how you kind of did a little bit of a modern twist on traditional and kind of changed the whole interior to still work with the exterior. So now we're here in the heart of the home, the kitchen, and it is one large and amazing kitchen. Steps away from the foyer, we find the kitchen. This elegant meal prep space packs a lot of style and function.
It is a really large, oversized kitchen. So in order to still keep the intimacy, we really created like little spaces and little zone within the large kitchen. So this where we're standing right now is really more the prepping, cooking, dishwasher, like really the very functional, exactly, where the heavy duty, work happens.
Great function in this design, not just beauty. And Tom, earlier in the episode, you talked about how walnut sort of creates this theme throughout.
Yeah, we wanted to keep a very clean look, like we said earlier. The client really wanted a more modern, clean feel. So, in this kitchen, we used a lot of white lacquer, bringing in the walnut cabinetry. So we sort of blended the white lacquer with the walnut cabinetry, and we also introduced a more modern element like the polished stainless steel cabinets, just to sort of break up the space because it is such a big room. So we wanted to have different elements in that space. We didn't just want to do all the kitchen in walnut or all the kitchen
Right,
in
it would have been
white.
overpowering, I feel.
Exactly.
This is such a nice balance, and the polished stainless is gorgeous because I think it sort of flanks this really grand hood, and the marble on the counters, it just adds this beautiful lightness to the space.
Yeah.
Actually, the counter is a natural quartzite,
so it's
which
stronger.
is probably one of the hardest natural stone, which is great for kitchen use. And the walnut here contrasts very nicely. And because this is where they would eat, also is another area where they can have breakfast, we wanted to bring the warmth of nearly like a dining table feeling with the wood.
It's very nice.
And another interesting element, continuing with the theme of the house, mixing the traditional with the modern, is the ceiling details with the coves and the crown moldings.
Such a nice way to do that. And I think in such a large room, the ceiling detail being very important to your design, right?
Yeah, because if it was one flat ceiling, it would be very boring, very plain.
And it definitely does add that interest. Now, we're only on one half of this very large kitchen. We've got a whole other side to check out. But before we do that, let's check in with Mike Martinez from USA Windows and Doors and see what great advice he has for us today.
Hey, Mike from USA Windows and Doors here. I'm here with Fernando. We're working on his house, putting in brand new windows and doors. Fernando, how do you like the job so far?
Yeah, I was mentally prepping myself for the amount of people that were going to be in my house, and it was a little daunting, but I was shocked at just the how fast they worked and the professionalism. And they did half of the house in just a matter of hours. And out of the, I think it was a total of 14 windows, they finished 80% of them by the end of the day. So,
Yeah.
And they didn't get in until about 11 a.m. in the morning.
So Fernando, we've done some windows, we're doing some doors for you. You want to go over a little bit of what your choices were and why you made those choices?
Absolutely. We wanted something to match the actual fascia boards on the outside, and you gave us some great examples with the bronze finishing because we wanted something that was a little bit more contemporary, not so much traditional with the white.
So Fernando, I know that you were having problems in the past with the old windows. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, energy efficiency was a big deal. You know, in the middle of the summer, obviously it gets ridiculously hot, and they just weren't efficient. You know, I could just tell from the first night. It's quieter, they're more efficient, so we couldn't be more excited about that. Mike, I want to bring my family out of here because this is the reason why we went with this investment for our home. We wanted to make sure during hurricane season, no issues, and most importantly for safety in regards to intruders and not have any security issues whatsoever.
It's what we wanted to make sure we did. We wanted to make sure we put the right quality product and do the right things for you.
Fortunate to be working with you guys, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you again. So if you're ready to make a change for your windows and doors, highlight your house and make your neighborhood even more beautiful than it is, give USA Windows and Doors a call on the number in the screen, or better yet, check us out on our website, usawindowsanddoors.com.
Thanks, Mike. So Charlotte and Tom, on this side of the kitchen is like, I mean, this is a whole other space, but connects so beautifully. What a grand dining area.
Yes, as you say, this is like another zone, and as you can see, there is kind of nearly like a second buffer from where the whole action of the kitchen happens. This is about a 14 feet long island that act as a separation between the zones, give a lot of additional storage, and actually we use this as our background for a custom banquet. Another thing that I think is very important in how Tom and I design is that we like to frame our space with the same elements. So if you can notice on the other side of this wall, which is all stainless steel and white lacquer, it is actually mimicked with the same finishes. And the left and the right are now framed with the walnut. So even though we might not even know why we feel that way, I think the use of the elements really frame you and make you feel more cozy.
Right, it's perfectly balanced. And now, Tom, we're going to talk about the walnut edition again. You've integrated little pops of it, cased the entryway, and of course this one as well.
Yeah, so we have a lot of really cool design elements within this kitchen, and one of the things that we tried to do was sort of keep the kitchen nice and clean, very organized, and something that we do a lot in our homes is introduce something that's called an appliance garage. So what that is this element here where you can actually open these doors and they pocket back, and you can have all of your countertop appliances within the space. So it actually works out very nice.
That is a great feature, and we always love stuff where you could hide the functional aspects that are sometimes your everyday stuff. Just close the doors, gives a clean look. It's a fun surprise. And now this behind us just creates this beautiful sort of china cabinet built-in look. I love that in this space you did a lot of built-in looks with the furnishings as well.
So it really became more of like a jewelry box.
Yes.
For their china, some of their everyday plates and silverware and stuff like that.
It's a really nice way to, of course, bring that stainless back in, the polished stainless, but I love seeing between all the natural elements that pop of the metallic.
Yes, and it's actually a fun play on the old world design of a kitchen. So it's kind of a modern version of an old kitchen or traditional kitchen.
So what's great is that, you know, we talk about the way you're balancing the traditional aspects of the architecture and the exterior by modernizing inside. So now we are going to head to the other more formal dining areas, which happens to be right behind us, and we are going to bring you all through when we come back. Coming up next, see how to create a minimalistic yet warm dining experience on Soplo Home Project. Submerge yourself in the largest hot tub and swim spa expo of the year today and tomorrow at the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Save thousands on name brand, quality, made in America swim spas for exercising or a hot tub just for relaxing. Financing is available and the prices are unbeatable. So visit the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Expo today and tomorrow at the Coral Square Mall.
You've probably seen the Good Greek trucks on the road, and they are more than just the best looking trucks on the road. Good Greek has the largest fleet of any moving company, and these trucks are new when we first buy them and fully equipped with the latest technology. Having the largest fleet in the state, customers never have to experience the common excuse in the industry of our truck broke down or we're running late. We always have backup trucks, we have backup crews, we can always cover our jobs, and we're doing over 100 jobs a day at times. All of our trucks are brand new when we purchase them, and they come fully equipped with the latest in technology, including cameras, backup systems, and now we're going to also have driver assist in the latest trucks, which keeps the truck in lane and helps braking as it approaches another vehicle or object. So customers can be assured that their belongings are going to get there safely because we've done our due diligence in the hiring process with who we put behind the wheel, but we also give that driver all the advantages of the best equipment possible. We have a large enough fleet that we can actually specialize in not just residential moving, but also in commercial moving. We move a lot of businesses, quite often after hours, and quite often across country. Good Greek can help you whether it's a small move or a large move, local, long distance, residential or commercial, and we've got all the equipment that's necessary to handle any type of move, but just as important, perhaps more important, we've got the right people, properly trained, skilled, and professional.
Good Greek moving and storage, your superhero movers.
Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing to tour this gorgeous Miami Beach home with the design team from Dunnigan DeVario, Charlotte, and Tom. So we have seen the beautiful kitchen, which is right on the other side of this. It's large, expansive. There's a lot of dining space, but in the formal dining room, another large table and grand seating area. Adjacent to the kitchen, we find the formal dining room. Simple design choices give this room a modern, warm, yet classic feel.
Something special about this room was that we wanted it to feel like its own space, but we still wanted it to be open to the other spaces. So when you first walked in the house in the foyer, we saw this big glass wall with the black steel detailing on that. So we created that so that the client could separate the dining room from the hallway and be able to see from the front door through the house to the water.
It really is a nice design feature. I mean, I love the symmetry of it as well. So you definitely have merged again in this area the traditional with more of the modernization in the interior.
Absolutely. So this is another play on what you would probably find in a very traditional home, what we call a coffer ceiling, except that instead of having something that would have a lot of depth, we went with what we call an applied molding that gives it a very kind of flat, clean look, but yet brings all the detailing.
It's a nice way to really bring that in. So this gives you that beautiful detail. And now neutral backdrop, as we're seeing, is a theme throughout the home. Lots of beautiful materials. We got warm woods, we've got beautiful leathers, of course the stone.
We knew that they were going to have a very extensive art collection, so we knew that when we were designing the home, we wanted to keep a more neutral background for all that art because we knew that that was going to bring those pops of color in the interest to the walls.
So you've set the stage for this kind of way for the owners to insert any art as they'd like and move it around in the very neutral wall color. So now behind us we have two beautiful doors, and I know behind one of them is a powder room.
Powder room being much smaller than the rest of the room, we actually made them a little darker to create like a punch and like a more moody effect, like nearly like a jewelry box.
And I do want to point out one more thing since we are talking about those doors. So throughout the house, we're having that modern, traditional feeling going throughout. So the doors themselves are actually more modern. The door is actually flush with the casing. So, you know, it goes along that theme of having more modern elements within a house, but still having it in the walnut finish to sort of go with everything else that we've designed.
That is a great point. Of course, all of the dining areas here is beautiful. We've got a lot more to see though, and we are going to continue with our tour when we come back. Next, we have more transitional spaces to explore on SoFlo Home Project. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing our tour of this gorgeous home with the design team from Dunnigan DeVario, Charlotte and Tom. So we have seen the interiors, you guys, and so many of those spaces are beautiful. But now we are in the outside, which is, I think, equally as beautiful.
Well, the clients here wanted to really create a resort lifestyle, so there's a lot of really unique spaces.
Yes, she really wanted especially a little Zen special garden, so you will see a lot of wellness and, like Tom said, spa-like features.
I love it. Well, this is going to be an exciting part 2 next week, and you are all going to have to tune in next Saturday to check out our tour of the many amenities. Charlotte and Tom, I want to thank you both. This has been so much fun.
Thank you.
And now here's a quick sneak peek of what you could expect to see next week on SoFlo Home Project. Next week on SoFlo Home Project, join us for part 2 of this amazing home tour, where we'll share more design advice and inspiration as we explore some amazing entertaining spaces and amenities. And to our viewers, we thank you for joining us this week, and we hope to see you again next week for part 2 of this amazing home tour for another all-new episode of SoFlo Home Project. And remember, there's no place like SoFlo Home. If you missed any part of this episode, or if you're looking for more design inspiration, make sure to check out all episodes online at sofloshows.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media on Facebook and Instagram.